Hello viewers, I welcome you to today's tutorials on resume. My name is Daniel Wayne. Today, as I've said earlier, we want to look at a resume, and the various sections which you want to look at are on your screen. The first section is developing your resume, the second section is including the right information, and the third section is using your resume online. I want you to subscribe on my YouTube channel, like the videos, and also check some other videos which could be of help to you. As an introduction, why do you need a resume? Your resume is your life history in a summary. This material we're using for this tutorial is from the GCF. Okay, a resume, as we can see on the screen, is a document that helps your prospective employer to know exactly what you want them to know about you and why you would be a good fit for their open position. In a nutshell, it advertises your skill in an easy to read, logical and concise format. Now let's look at the purpose of writing a resume. The first one is hiring managers use resumes to screen potential employees, which we all know. They spend less than 15 seconds in doing this, and after screening it, they group or categorize resumes into two groups, either the no pile or the yes pile. The no pile ends up in the recycle bin, while the yes pile gets a second look and possibly an interview. So that is why hiring managers use resumes. The second purpose for resume is it is a tool designed to get you to the next step in your employment process, which is the interview. Without the resume, I don't think you will be called for any interview. You want to look at the format you can use in resume. There are various formats one can use in writing a resume. You have the chronological, you have the functional, and the combination resume. What can you say about the chronological resume? These are some of the features in the chronological resume. It includes job titles, dates of employment, and a description of the job in terms of accomplishment and measurable task. What this is trying to say is that you need to include your job title, you include the date of employment and the description of the job in terms of your accomplishment and your task that is measurable. So you have to bring out some of this information in your resume. Now the second point is that it is most often done in reverse order, with your most recent job listed first. Here, your resume should be in a reverse order, especially in terms of your job listing. You start with the recent one, then the previous ones and others. not the other way around. The third point is that the chronological resume works best for job seekers that have these qualities. One, they have steady employment history and they have previous employment that is also related to the position they are seeking for. For instance, you are applying for the position of an administrative officer, and in your current workplace, you are also working as an administrative officer. Can you see the link? So that is what this third point is talking about under the chronological resume. So you can make use of it if you fall in such category. If you have a steady job employment history, that is, there's no gap, maybe 3 years, 4 years you were not employed. No, you have a steady employment history, then your previous employment is related to the position you are looking at. So you have to apply this chronological resume for it. Okay, now let's look at the second one, which is the functional resume. The functional resume, it groups applicable skills in functional skill categories. It highlights applicable skills and experience without revealing a lapse in employment. The third one is it works best for job seekers who have worked many jobs in fields that do not directly relate to the desired position, have little previous work experience in the field, have gaps in employment history, recently graduated or changed career directions, or want to keep attention away from their age. So those in these categories can make use of the functional resume. This particular aspect is more on functional skills, and less experience, less previous work experience, and it is somehow opposite of the first one, of which there may be lapse in employment history. For instance, maybe you didn't work for like 3-4 years, okay, and you were busy carrying out other skills to make a living. You can make use of the functional resume, okay, not the chronological resume, because the chronological resume deals with a steady employment history. Those that recently graduated can make use of the functional resume, or those that want to change their career path or that career direction can make use of functional resume. For chronological, it's not like that. You can't apply it. Your career direction must be in line with the position you are seeking for. So these are the differences between the functional resume and the chronological resume. So you have to take note of it before applying for any position or submitting your resume for any position. Then the third one is a combination of these resumes. Here it highlights your functional skills and experience without hiding employment dates. It works best for job seekers who have obtained the required skills from seemingly unrelated industry or jobs, those that are trying to change careers, have had a steady work history. It's also favorite among hiring managers and recruiters. As the name implies, this is a combination resume, so it combines both the chronological and the functional. So if you fall in the category of the chronological, fine, you can make use of the combination resume. If you fall into the category of a functional, you can also make use of the combination resume. So you can combine both your experience, your skill, your lapses, or the gaps in your employment history, and many other things, even jobs that are not related, okay, to the current position you're applying for. Having highlighted the various forms of resume, I want you to apply them while you're writing your next resume. Make sure that you use either of these types of resume, either the chronological, the functional, or the combination resume format. Before we go into the next aspect, let me just give a recap of what we've done so far. We've identified, or we've explained what a resume is and its purpose, and we've looked at the various types of resumes. Now we want to look at the strategies you can use to write a great resume. Now, there are certain things you need to consider, which I will call techniques or approach you can use in writing your resume. The first one is you have to consider customizing your resume for each position you are submitting for. Yes, each of the positions you are submitting for, you have to customize it. Use your summary or profile section to highlight your skills and expertise as they relate to the specific job. Better yet, carry this customization throughout the entire resume. It may be very, very, very convenient to create several versions of your resume based on common positions you will be applying for, thus eliminating the amount of customization you will have to do for each job. So this is the first technique you have to do, customizing your resume for each position you are submitting from. Then the second one is make sure the rest of your resume supports your summary, profile, or objective. It's just a simple thing. Then the third one is you have to include keywords on your resume. Keywords, these are the things recruiters search for. So these keywords are the things needed to make a quick scan on your resume for a few seconds. Okay, so they are very, very interested in it. So in those keywords you have to showcase your skills and the knowledge required for the position. Then the next one is you have to be concise. Yes, you have to be very, very, very concise. Okay, because recruiters have numerous resumes they are trying to sort out. So you have to be very, very concise. If possible, highlight certain things, certain points with bullets. Okay, and concise language. Okay, so but don't make it so much so that it doesn't lose the value. Okay, but you have to be concise and bring out some points using the bullet. Okay, then the next one is you have to list your past work accomplishments, not just your responsibilities. Okay, not just your responsibilities. This is because hiring managers want to compare your skill and abilities to the other candidates they are also considering. So that is that on the tips for writing a great resume. Okay, so how do you design a great resume? Let's look at the tips. We'll be fast about it. As we've discussed previously, you use the bullet point for emphasis purpose. You use verb tense consistently. Okay, you observe your past tense and your present tense for your current job, then the past tense for your previous job activities. Then you also talk about, make sure that you vary your words, the choice of your words. You have to be strategic, and then you vary it. You can look for another word describing a previous word that you've also mentioned. You don't repeat words so that it will not be boring. Don't repeat the same words often so that it will not be boring. Okay, you make use of the bold and the italics. You can also use a larger point font, a bigger font size, okay, or a conservative font like the Times New Roman, the Arial, the Tahoma. Okay, you can make use of this font. You also include adequate white space. Okay, then check your spellings. So that is that on how to design a great resume. Don't lie, don't disregard references. You have to include references and make sure that those you reference are also willing to communicate with your employer. Make sure that you must have discussed with your referees concerning your job application so that they will be aware of it and they will be ready to discuss your skills and abilities with a potential employer. Don't submit your resume for a position which you are not qualified for. If you are not qualified for any position, don't submit. Don't ever try it. Okay, and don't use more than 2 fonts. Yes, don't use more than 2 fonts. Either use the Times New Roman or the Tahoma. Then don't use clip arts on your resume. Don't use clip arts at all. Don't use it in your resume. Don't include pictures also unless it is required for the position. Okay, then don't include personal or health related information like your birth date, your height, your weight, your health or marital status, your religion, affiliation, club. Don't include all those stuff. Okay, then don't include anything concerning your salary information, and don't misspell anything. Okay, so that is that on common resume mistakes people make. Please try and watch all this, otherwise your resume will fall under the category of the no pie, which means that you will not be called for an interview. Your resume will be thrown into the bin, recycle bin. Thank you. I hope you understood this aspect of resume.